It's been a long day. Work is starting to pick up.
Mile, turn right onto Hebron Road.
And days are getting longer. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to find their way here if they want. I'm eating some Starburst jelly beans.
Turn right onto Hebron Road. In 1.1 miles, turn left onto Denfield Street.
I'm going to cut this one off and alrighty guys, so I've got a question. Well, I'll just start and the question will end up in here somewhere. When the Digicools, the Testo 550s and the S-Mans first came out,
left onto Denfield Street, then turn right onto Monk Road.
there was a lot of interest in the capacity to check your pressures and get automatic calculation of your superheat and subcool without having to put your clamp on and watch your gauge and, you know, go through all of that. So all of the comments that I heard personally with the guys that I worked with were comments along the line that, man, I can start the system up and go start cleaning up after my install, and while the system is running, I can just walk over to the gauges and see what they're doing, add a little bit of refrigerant, keep working, cleaning up, whatever, come back, add a little. Everyone's interest in picking up digital gauges when everything first came out.
Turn left onto North Duke Street.
But recently, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody, I swear, I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I'm just genuinely confused as to why recently there is so much pushback against using tools that allow you to save time and be more accurate and more thorough. I'm not even talking about iManifold specifically, but yes, that's one tool that makes a lot of things faster. So, crap, I lost my train of thought. I guess that's why you don't do live vlogs when you're tired. One of the comments that I saw a good bit of in my video about the iManifold app being free was that you don't need to buy an expensive tool to do your job, because you can do a little bit of addition and subtraction. But with iManifold and the Testo Smart Probes app, you're doing so much more than third grade math. Target exit evaporator temperature is not third grade math. It's a fairly complex equation that requires accurate readings within the equation for the answer to the problem to turn out properly. And then you go beyond that and you go into your BTU calculations, and that takes it even farther. You've got another formula, not just simple addition and subtraction necessarily, and you can't just throw any numbers in there. You have to have accurate measurements to go into those calculations. And previously, I was labeled, or I was blamed for saying that if you don't have an I-manifold, you're not a good technician, which is absolutely wrong and an inaccurate interpretation of what I said. I can't say that I could quote myself specifically, but I'm pretty sure the quote would go something like, most technicians do not do a good job with their service work. Most. That doesn't even mean most on YouTube. That means most across the whole freaking industry. And it's absolutely true. Most HVAC technicians do as little as possible and guess and assume that so many things are within parameters. So what I was saying when I said most technicians don't do a good job, I was offering the assistance to technicians that are not interested in investing a lot of time to either purchase something like the I-manifold or the I-Connect, or get the application so that the readings that you're already taking, you simply dump them into the application. You're taking delta T. You're reading your refrigerant pressures. You're reading your superheat and subcool. If you take some relative humidity and a little bit of wet bulb and you use that in the application, it will spit out performance data. It will spit out target exit evaporator temperature as long as you're within parameters. And it will help you understand what you're seeing on the system, and it will give you the capacity to look deeper, and it doesn't take that much time. I'm not even talking about all that. I'm genuinely confused why we went from, man, I can save a lot of time using a set of Testos or S-Man or the Digicools, and yes, these are Starburst. I'll go ahead and invest a couple $100 in this expensive set of gauges so that I can save time and be more accurate or more thorough. And at that time, at least the world I was in, nobody cared about target superheat. Nobody cared about actual airflow. If you had quote-unquote good airflow, crap, I'm missing my exit. If you had good airflow, it meant you had a lot of air pressure, which has got nothing to do with anything. A lot of air pressure could actually be massive static. You could have 0.8 to an inch of static.
Take a slight right turn.
So my question is, why are we not allowing technicians to believe in a way to save time and in effect be more thorough?
In half a mile, take exit 108 CPH.
It does not calculate to me how we went from one end of the spectrum trying to save time and be more accurate, and now the general consensus of comments on just about anything I've done recently on iManifold is that I can do third grade math. I don't need that. Your third grade math is not third grade math. It took a lot of smart people a long time, or some time, to come up with the formula for target exit evaporator. And the formula for calculating BTUs. I mean, that particular calculation is ages old, but it's not just simple math. It's not third grade math for sure. I guess I'm just confused. I thought that being faster and more accurate, more thorough, and more detailed was what everyone wanted to do, or what every, aspiring serviceman or maintenance man, he wanted to be faster. He wanted to be able to get in and out of that call more quickly. He wanted to be able to know what was going on sooner than later. And it feels like we're going the other direction. That just because I said that most technicians don't do a good job, and the iManifold can help you be more accurate, faster, more thorough, all of a sudden we're jumping to the other side of the boat and saying that, you don't even need digital, which, yeah, sure, you don't need it, but we're all trying to be faster, more thorough, more accurate, and I'm starting to repeat myself. We got a comment here. I was taught 8 years ago to charge by guesstimating pressures determined by guesstimated temperature. I won't read the rest of that comment, but thank you there, Mike. My goal in doing videos on YouTube, I enjoy the interaction. That is definitely a big part of the whole equation. There's a lot of people that you get to talk to, a lot of smart people you get to bump ideas off of and learn from. But at the same time, I felt like I had something to share for young technicians coming up in the trade, to be able to get them to where they are faster, more thorough, more accurate. And that's why I started doing videos. I did the video way back when on checking a capacitor with the power on. That one little calculation is, grade school math, and can allow you to see what that capacitor's doing without having to shut the unit off, disconnect your wires, and then have to start it back up again. If you're doing a maintenance and you shut the system down, you have to restart the system if you haven't taken your refrigerant pressure readings, and you have to give it time to equalize or balance out again. And so that one little piece of checking the capacitor without turning the power off can save you 15 or 20 minutes. Now, if you're, just fluffing through it and you don't care if your refrigerant pressures are balanced out and you're just going to call it good regardless, then more power to you. Turn it off, disconnect your leads on the capacitor, and do it that way. But I've seen a lot of technicians that do not have a meter that will read capacitors. It won't read capacitance. It's a cheap junk meter that reads amps and volts. And that's all you need to be able to check that capacitor while it's running. I tried to share the idea that you want to take pride in your work and make sure that the customer's perception of what you did is at a high level. You can clean your evaporator coil, you can clean your condenser coil pretty good, or a little, without taking the louvers off the outside of the unit. You can get some dirt out of the coil without taking the louvers off of your unit. But what about the grass that's down there between the louvers and the coil at the bottom? Those gray Goodman units are the worst, because once you do take them apart, you fight yourself to try to put it all back together. Because those panels are just ridiculous. And taking pride in your work means that you get all of the leaves and grass and dirt out of the bottom of the condenser, especially on a heat pump, so that you can be sure that when it goes into defrost during the winter, that frost water will have a much better chance of draining out of the bottom of the unit and not building up around the compressor. I tried to share the calculation for electric heat temperature rise method, because that can be one way that you get a good idea of the volume of air that you're moving. You're already taking temperature splits, you should be taking amp draws, and you should be reading voltages. I think every service ticket for every company I ever worked for, if you were doing heat pump systems, you had all of that information on the service ticket. So you already take the measurements. Why not do the calculation and at least get a good idea of where your airflow is close to? Now, I know that there was some comments on that video about the fact that up north they'll use a 20 kW heater on a 3-ton because it's a heck of a lot colder up there. At that point, the calculation is sometimes okay, but generally not very accurate at that level. I wish this was something a little stronger than water. Oh, what else we got? Clocking the meter. There's some information to try to save you some time. But all of that can be dumped in to the iManifold app without any of the accessories, and it will give you your BTU output and a gas heat temperature rise method for airflow. All of the things that the iManifold does, yes, can be done manually. You can do the math, you can do the calculations, you can go long form, handwritten. But aren't we trying to be faster, more accurate, and more thorough? Typically, the average technician that doesn't care about all that stuff, he skips things to be faster. He doesn't bother checking the amp draw on his blower motor because, hey, it's running, so it must be good. He doesn't bother checking the capacitor because the system's running. If the capacitor was dead, the blower wouldn't run. Since I'm driving, I'm having a hard time even trying to read your comments, and I apologize for that. But once this video is posted permanently, I'll definitely go through the comments and respond as needed. But that's where I'm at. You know, if you want to be faster, more accurate, more thorough, the I-manifold is expensive and maybe ridiculously expensive depending on where you are in your job and, you know, how much money you are making, how many bills you have to pay for kids or whatever else. But it can and will save you time. The IDVM meter is coming out, and it will integrate into the I-manifold application. So now, or once that device hits, you'll be able to, within 15 or 20 seconds, put all of that electrical information fed into the app, and it'll connect with all the other information. And it'll spit out all these formula answers that will give you more information faster than you could ever do it manually. I'm not saying you can't do it manually. I'm not saying you shouldn't maybe learn to do it manually. But if you've got 15 or 16 or 17 years in the business, you know, finding a way to be faster, more accurate, more thorough, this can be your ticket to, you know, seeing more than you've ever seen before. I think I'm probably repeating myself and pissing a couple of people off. I know I'm repeating myself. I'm probably pissing some people off. But that's where I'm coming from. I don't understand why there is so much pushback against I-manifold. That's all I've got to do, guys. That's all I've got to say. I'm going to get home in a bit and go to sleep. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. The RARVID coupon code for TrueTech Tools is still good for $10 off your purchase of $10 or more. We got a new coupon code for the IDVM 500 or 510. That coupon code is RARIDVM. That'll get you $10 off of the $149.50 that TrueTech Tools is selling the meter for. I believe their stock is supposed to be available at the end of the month, March 31st. But you are able to pre-order and have it come as soon as they get enough of them. I wanted to thank you guys for using the RARVID code. The last time that I got updated numbers, we had saved over almost $700 that you guys have been able to save by using my code. I really appreciate it. I don't get anything if you guys use the code. It's all for you. I don't get any kind of a kickback from TrueTech because of the code. I wanted you guys to be able to get a break on your purchases so that you could, you know, get tools that you need or tools that you want But anyway, I said I was stopping like 5 minutes ago. So I'm going to shut up, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.